Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the video. Hopefully you're doing fantastic today, and welcome back to Building the Lost River. It is episode 4, and I apologize for the 4-month period that has been in between this episode and the last episode. I have been planning a few things how to continue this project, and I think I am back here with a fresh mind, and I know exactly what I'm going to be doing, and hopefully almost getting the base of this place done. I mean, I would have expected us to at least finish the cave. I was honestly hoping we'd do that at the end of last episode, but we are back here today, and that is what I plan on doing today, is finishing up the cave. We need a completely enclosed space, and that is exactly what we're going to try do in this episode. Last time, we made this place actually look a whole lot better. We added in these rock formations here, all of these islands. Pretty sure we started this waterfall as well. Built this entire wall and the little part back here. The waterfall is what took us, I think, the longest. I really struggled with it, and I think I have an idea on what I'm going to do with this. But that is not the first thing we're going to do. The first thing that I want to do is finish actually enclosing this area, so that way we have just a room to work with, so we don't have to worry about going outside the boundaries. We don't have to worry about crushing everything together. We can just get ourselves a set boundary on what to work with. So before we do start getting building, what I want to work on today is going to be in a little bit of a checklist form. I want to finish up this wall back here, add a little entrance where the Cyclops is coming out of, and find something to build here. Maybe, I'm not sure, I want to add some alien ruins. You know how in the Lost River you sometimes see the Precursor buildings falling down. I think I want to build something maybe about right here. I'm not sure how big it's going to be, as we don't have that much space here, but I do want to try squeeze one of those things in. And also I want to add some of the kelp vines that stretch and hold up the cave itself, so we can put some blood oil on that as well. So all of that I kind of want to start working on at least, but the first thing we're going to have to do before that is to set ourselves a boundary and enclose this area in. So without further ado, let's start with the building. And while we start building this, guys, I think this is a perfect time to reminder that if you do enjoy these types of videos, make sure you leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you do subscribe, make sure you hit the bell, so that way you're notified every time I upload and you don't miss out on the videos that you enjoy. Trust me, it helps a whole lot more than you think. Three, two, one, bam. There we go. The back wall is completely done. I would say it looks really nice. It's a nice little transition from this side of the wall that connects to this wall over here. So yeah, I think it looks really nice. Now, of course, we will have to add an entrance because the Cyclops right now just looks like it would have phased through the wall. So we're going to have to add another entrance like what we have here. But I'm really happy with it. So I think what we're going to do later on with this is, as I was saying earlier, add some of the vines that contain the blood oil on them. I want to have a few of them stretch up from this island here and branching off onto the cave wall, so that way it looks like the wall actually has some kind of support. And then what we're going to have to do later on is connect these two somehow, but I'm going to leave that on hold for now because, as I said, I do want to build a precursor base that looks like it's just dropped down from the ceiling, kind of like what we have in the actual Lost River. Again, this is not a replica of the Lost River, this is just basically a diorama of the Lost River, so not everything here is completely accurate to the game. So we're going to have a Degasi base hanging right there. So we're going to have to extend these walls a bit more. So that's why I'm going to hold off connecting this side for now. That way we give ourselves a bit extra space. But I'd say we've done pretty well. So the next thing I want to work on now is I want to work on this damn waterfall because it looks absolutely horrendous. And I think what I have done in the time between this episode and last episode is thought that I'm just going to leave it like that. No glass, just the concrete blocks. So I don't think we tried this out last time. I just want to make sure I know what I'm doing. And honestly, it doesn't look too bad. It's not horrible. You can see here actually the transition between the two. If you're not really paying attention at it, it's not that bad. It looks like it would transition from the waterfall to the actual river itself, so maybe that could be something we could do, but now I just need to make sure it has a organic liquid feel to it, because right now it just looks like a 90-degree drop. But adding in stuff like this isn't exactly going to make it look good at all. No, that doesn't look good at all. So maybe actually we could fill this up? Maybe we could make a combination between the two. I'm not too sure about that. That doesn't look good. Really doesn't look good. Now, the problem I have with making this entire fall out of glass is that it will be seen through. You can see the back wall there. But I suppose since it's been a while, we could give it a bit of a tester. So all of this area here, let's just go ahead and go // replace with lime glass. So like that. See, now of course it's not just going to be a big box of lime glass. It is going to have to be layered with what we have as the floor. So if we just let's try it. Let's go ahead and let's try it. So let's go down here. Let's take that corner block and let's do // cut. And that should be the first layer kind of done. So it makes it look a bit darker. It gives the illusion that it's getting a bit darker and it's not just a hollow surface. So we'll skip every one layer and see how it actually looks. You see what I mean? It doesn't... I'm really not sure about this. I mean, something we will have to do actually that I can quickly do now is somehow change all of this to lime concrete so that way we don't actually see the wall. But then it just makes it look like that. I am not entirely sure how this is going to work. I really don't know what to do. I think the best thing to do, honestly, is just to turn this entire wall into lime concrete. I honestly think that's the best thing we can do. Maybe let me try something. I'm not sure how well this is gonna look, but we can at least give it a try. I mean, it didn't really turn out the way I was fully expecting it to, but this is kind of the idea I had in mind. I'm not too sure. I think what we're going to have to do is add a bit more to it, so that way it's not just this top part here that has some more shape to it and this bottom part is just flat. So maybe we can extend this down quite a bit more, maybe all the way to the bottom. I guess that would make a bit more sense as it's flowing down. So, and then we can fill up all of these blocks here like that. Yeah, I mean, I'm really not sure about this. I haven't struggled as much on anything else on this project so far, apart from this. Maybe that won't look too bad. Maybe. I hope so. Let's go ahead and fill up this area again with the glass. I mean, it's been worse. It's looked worse. I don't think it's the worst it's looked. I think we're going to... I'm really not sure. I think we're going to leave it like this for now. I think we've worked quite a bit enough on this. It doesn't look too bad. If I come back next episode and it doesn't look great, then I will have to either find a final form for it, or I just completely disregard the waterfall itself. Yeah, I think we'll leave it like this for now. It should be fine. So now what we can work on is the area around this. Now, it won't keep on going. There is going to be a backdrop to it, so a certain point until it's just a wall. I'm not going to continue making a separate area from the Lost River. I'm just going to shut it off around about here. It's just like a little extra detail to give this place a bit more depth. So this area here, it's all going to be covered up. So just about like that. Yeah, I think this should look alright. Alright, let's give this a try. There we go. Something a bit like that. I think that looks pretty good, actually. I really like that. Yeah, it adds more to it. It's just a small little detail, but it does add quite a bit more to the build. Now, again, as I said, it's not supposed to be anything too big. It was just supposed to be a little extra detail into the side of the build, and I do think it adds quite a bit more to the build. So I'm really happy with the way this has turned out. And honestly, looking more at the waterfall, I know it's not a waterfall. I'm just calling it a waterfall because it looks like a waterfall, and I don't know what else to call it. I think it doesn't look too bad. You know, looking more into it, again, as I said, maybe next episode I'll have a change of mind, but it doesn't look too bad. Again, don't look at it too much, but just looking at it from the distance, it looks pretty good. I'm pretty proud of this so far. Alright, so with that out the way, I think what I want to move on to next is possibly the arches I've been talking about. So we're going to need a block that I probably haven't used ever. I'm thinking this block, I don't even know how to pronounce that, warped hyphae? I don't know how you would pronounce that at all. I think this block might be the best to work with, and it kind of looks like the texture of the stems. So something a bit like that. Maybe some prismarine could look nice. Again, I've never worked with these types of blocks. This project has me working with some blocks that I have never used before. So maybe stuff like this. And then for the blood oil, I could mix some of this block. Now does this, if it's not in water, does it just turn like to a stony color? Yeah, it does. Okay, that's a bit of a problem. Maybe I can find a command or a mod that stops it from doing that. Or, I mean, I could just use redstone blocks. I mean, redstone blocks look a lot like blood oil, actually. So I think that's what I'm going to build that out of. So let me go look at a few pictures and I'll see how I can actually start working on this. Now, doing a bit more research, I actually found out it's just called blood kelp. It looks a bit more blue, almost white. It's a really light blue color. So I'm thinking that using this block wouldn't be the best idea. So the second best thing that I came up with is using packed ice. I believe this is, yeah, packed ice. So this won't actually melt. Don't worry about that. I'm trying to get the general shape of it down. It does look quite weird, but then again, it has to look strong enough to actually support the cave walls. So something a bit like this is what I've had in mind. So the Cyclops is going right past this. I'm not entirely sure how this is supposed to look. Maybe something I could do, since this is still a bit too blue, there needs to be a bit more white to it, is I could use some white glass and just surround this entire stem in the glass. So let's make this a bit more structurally stable. Again, this is supposed to be a plant we're talking about here. This isn't really supposed to be a rock formation. Yeah, that's good enough for now. And then now what we can start doing is, I'm not going to do too much, but I'm just going to surround the entire stem in white stained glass. Again, never used this block before in survival or creative. That honestly doesn't look that bad. I mean, the texture of the glass kind of gets lost with the ice. It's honestly pretty good looking. I wanted to try. Okay, I'm going to surround the entire stem with this, and if it really doesn't look good afterward, then I can just get rid of it with World Edit. So it's not going to be too much of a pain to get rid of if it doesn't look good. But I have some hope with this. This does have some potential to look really nice. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. I don't know any other way I could have done this, and this looks. It looks good. I don't know what else to say. This is the best that I could have done, I think. Now, the next thing we can do is start putting some redstone blocks around it to add as the blood oil. Now, of course, blood oil comes in different sizes. They normally on the stems, they come in big chunks, but usually they have little ones scattered on the floor as well. So I think what I'm going to do here is just add a few big ones. I don't want to take up the entire stem, but just something a bit like this. I need to make it a bit better looking, kinda like that. I think that looks nice. It definitely looks a lot better now that there's blood oil on it, or redstone blocks. Yeah, I think that looks a whole lot better. And then, as I said, something we can do at the bottom is just add a little bit of redstone blocks at the bottom. These can be the smaller chunks of blood oil. So just like that. That looks nice. That looks really, really nice. I'm really proud of that. Now, as well, something to go with the blood kelp is around it. There are these kind of vine blocks, and I think this is what I'm going to be using this block for. So surrounding this area here is what I'm going to be using for the vine kind of shape. So kind of a bit like that, and somehow I need to merge that with the rest of the rock formation. So I've actually just noticed that it's a bit of a different pattern depending how you place it. Yeah, you can see right there, this right there, there is a bit of a different pattern on both blocks. One goes vertical, one goes horizontal, so I'm gonna have to be a bit careful of that. I think I'm just going to place them all like that. And I'm going to try cover up as best as I possibly can this area here while still making it blend with the rocks. Now luckily basalt does kind of look like this block, so it shouldn't be too difficult, but we'll see what the best we can get is. And there we go. That definitely makes it look a whole lot better now that we've got more of the vines surrounding the stems. I really like this. I really, really like this. The transition, it could be better, but I think it looks really, really good. I'm really, really proud of how we have managed to do this. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to add any more of these. Touch up that block. There's a few missing blocks. No, I might add a few more of these, but I'm not exactly sure where I would put them. Maybe another small one on that island there. It wouldn't be nearly as big as this one, but I am glad that we managed to get one of a decent size in here. But maybe put another one here connecting to there. And then over here we will focus on putting the Precursor Base, and I am noticing a block that shouldn't actually be there. Let's go ahead and cover that up like that. We will focus on building that base over here, and I'm thinking for that we will be using dark prismarine. I think this block is almost absolutely perfect for the build. Now, I'm not entirely sure how big we're going to be making this. I'm not going to be building an interior. I'm going to say that out the way right now. I'm not going to be building an interior, but I want to at least find a way how I can incorporate a structure here, whether it be a full-on facility or it's just a pillar. So there we go. This is the shape that I think I'm going to work with. Now, the actual structures themselves are a mix of some black and some dark green. So I think what I'm going to use is some obsidian, some sea lanterns to add the lights, and we'll continue on with some prismarine blocks like that. So it's kind of got some modern feel in a way. So on the entrances, they have this green kind of force field around them. So maybe something like that. Maybe actually something we could do is add some sea lantern lights as a ring around it. Let's see how that looks, and then we can fill in like this. No, we're gonna have to fill in the whole thing if we do that. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. So now what we can do is add the interior lights or the exterior lights around this place. So let's go ahead and add some detailing like this. So this is the shape that I've gone with for the first part, and I decided to use some black glass, but it goes way too well with the dark prismarine. So I think using this block instead, the lime glass, looks a bit better. And then what we can do underneath it to add it the darker look is replace the dark prismarine with obsidian. Let's give that a try. Yeah, that looks a bit better because it's I don't know how to explain it. It's not really explained. Like writing on the walls of the precursor bases, it's this kind of black color. So doing it a bit like this is the best that I can deal with. Now again, this is a really smaller scale, so scale is really going to be the biggest problem here. But if we just continue on like this, it shouldn't be too bad. There we go. I think that's pretty good actually. So you can see here we have the main entrance where the player would swim through here. And then across the entire build, we have the lights that glow on the outside of the structure. Now again, this isn't to scale, which is why this can't look the greatest as it could. So scale was really against me this whole time. I'm sure if you build this in a better and bigger scale, this would definitely look a whole lot better as you could add more detail to it. Unfortunately, since I'm building it in a smaller area, it's not going to look the absolute greatest. But from what we have here, I think it's not too bad. So the next thing we can do is add some chains connecting it to the ground and the ceiling. So maybe we can try using some blackstone right here. So maybe a mixture of blackstone and obsidian connecting it to the surfaces. And there we go, guys. I think that is good enough for now. You can see the designs I kind of went with the pillars. They're not really pillars, they're more like pipelines that connect the structure. I was originally building chains that would connect the structure to the wall, but my chain design didn't look the greatest, so I looked up a few more images and saw that it's more like a pipe connecting the structure to the wall, so I went with this kind of industrious design. Of course, the colors do get mixed with the wall itself as it is all a darker color. But if we do want to change that in the future, we can go ahead and do that. But I think I'm going to leave this structure the way it is for now. I think it is a really good, small, little humble structure that's just going to sit there in the corner that the player can explore. But the last thing I want to work on for this episode is the entrance to the Lost River. So somehow I need to build an entrance to the Lost River that the Cyclops looks like it could have gone inside. So I'm thinking for now we can just tear apart this wall right here. I'm going to try and make it a little bit of a circle-ish again, kind of like what we have over there, except just a bit bigger so that way the Cyclops can travel inside. There we go. I think that works well as an entrance. I tried to make it the size that the Cyclops was, so that way it does look a bit accurate, so that way the Cyclops could actually travel through it if it was in game. So I think this hole should be big enough for now, and I think that is where I am going to leave it for this episode. I have been recording for almost 2 hours now, and I think we've gone quite a bit done this episode. Of course, we started off with finishing this wall here. We built this giant blood kelp stem. We worked a little bit on the waterfall. Again, this might be the thing that I'm mixed with the most. We also went ahead and built this Degassi structure right here, so there is still quite a bit left open for us in the next episode, which might actually be the finale. So all we have to do now really is add a ceiling, finish this wall up, add some more fish to this, because right now the only living thing here is the Coast Leviathan and the blood kelp. So we'll add a few fish and we'll have this place hopefully all finished up. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you leave a good old like on it. If you're new to the channel, why not consider subscribing? If you do subscribe, make sure you hit that bell, make sure it's ringing so you're notified every time I upload and you never miss a video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.